Hello everyone and welcome back to the Great Book of Grudges. My name is Nathan and we finally have some news. What you can see on screen right now is the roadmap. Now, I know this might sound a bit confusing, and some people might have a lot of questions considering, Q2, Q3, and Q4, but Creative Assembly are also releasing a blog alongside this, and there's a lot of details to discuss, and we're going to go down through the blog. It's actually rather lengthy, 8 pages, as they gave us a PDF file to talk about, so let's just not waste any more time and jump right in. Okay, let's talk about the intro of the post. So, they're giving us a state of the game, not just the roadmap, and I think that's really good, because here we're going to be able to find out how everything's progressing, what they want to do in the future, and, well, just general stuff. We even get some information on a DLC, which I'm just saying, I was right in a previous speculation video. Sorry, I'm just, I just like being right. Anyways, they're outlining what they plan more or less to do for the rest of 2022, and I think that's a good thing. This is the transparency we've all been wanting for. Now, whether this is the information that you want or not, that's completely up to you, but let's go through it, let's talk about it, and let's discuss. Let's go section by section. So we're going into Q2, which is all revolving around April, May, and June. April's just finished, but we got 2 months left. So in the month of May, we're going to be getting update 1.2, which is going to focus around a variety of different fixes and also some FLC. There's actually quite a lot of information here, so let's go down each of the individual fixes. AI factions rebuild towers too quickly. An important complaint about settlement battles is that the rate at which the computer players can build and rebuild their towers to defend against the player's army. That's actually going to be a great change if they can fix that up. Sometimes the AI does do an auto build and it can be kind of frustrating, especially if the siege is dragging out for a bit longer than you'd hope. Next, issues when flying units attack ground units. Flying units can encounter a few different issues when engaging with land-based units, the worst of which can result in them getting stuck and unresponsive for the remainder of the battle. I've had this happen. I hope it really gets fixed, especially because it's happened to me with Bloodthirsters, and you kind of want them flying about and just charging in, so I am glad that this is getting at least a little bit of a look over. Next, range units fail to engage valid enemy targets. Another issue noted is that range units will sometimes go idle despite having a clear shot on their enemies. We'll be sending all range units through boot camp to teach them how and when to engage. This is a great thing. If they're going to fix that, that's going to be a lot better. I've been in the receiving end of this where units just don't attack. This is when attacking Kislev. I don't know why it happens, but hey, at least they seem to have found the issue. Demon factions automatically declare war on Slaanesh vassals. This causes a diplomacy imbalance in the game that affects both the AI and player, and it's something that we're working to resolve. Okay, this is a great thing. The fact that that's going to get fixed solves a lot of my frustrations with Slaanesh's campaign at the moment. Like, it does become a bit of an issue. Fixes for issues that result in players getting stuck in the Slaanesh realm. In certain circumstances, the player can get trapped in the Slaanesh realm, something that we're working to fix. Never had that myself, but I guess a lot of people have had that issue. Heavier units ignore defensive infantry lines. This mainly affects large monster units. Defending lines should now be more effective at holding the front to counter attempts to access their backlines. Okay, yeah, that was a big issue, so at least that's getting fixed. AI factions with anti-player bias. As has been reported widely, the AI will often focus on the player despite having more dangerous foes to deal with. We hope to implement the first fixes for this issue in the release. Okay, yeah, player bias has been a bit of an issue lately. I've had that when I was playing as Slaanesh a while back, and then Karl Franz came to attack me. And I don't mean that I was in Norska or anything, I was still in the Northern Chaos Waste, yet this became a massive problem with factions just beelining straight for me. So this is great. And perhaps one of the most important ones, I know they're not really listed as important, but snow is too bright. The visual glow of snow is far too intense when running the game using certain settings. We've made some adjustments and we'll be watching for feedback following the update. This is going to be very helpful. Hopefully this is a big change, because I might not have the best eyesight, but there were certain snowy maps that were just pretty much blinding me. It kind of killed any mood to play through the rest of that battle, and I just wanted to pass it as quick as possible. But yeah, if it's getting fixed, that's great news. They've also got some bug fixes that they're looking to implement here, so let's talk about that. Auto-resolve improvements. There are several fixes we're looking to implement with Update 1.2 for a variety of issues that can occur after seducing units, how auto-resolve is calculated, changes to the way reinforcement armies influence the outcome, and other issues reported with auto-resolve. This is great. Auto-resolve definitely needs a bit of a look over, so the devs are looking to fix it up. May's not too far away, so this is going to be quite good, especially as I've been getting the itch to play again. So yeah, this is going to be quite nice. Improvements to unit responsiveness. This will be a long-term project, but we hope to make further improvements to the reactivity of units when they are issued orders and are engaging with enemy units. This includes ensuring that units don't go to sleep when they should be contributing to a very ongoing battle. Yeah, I've had that happen before with Bloodletters, so yeah, this is good to know. They do say here it's going to be a long-term project, so it's going to take a while until that gets fully fixed, but at least they know that that is going to be an issue that needs to be looked at. Improvements to single entity units dueling with other single entity units. Many players have noted issues when their large hero units engage with other heroes on the battlefield. We're aiming to improve their behavior to ensure that they properly engage with enemies and make their presence truly felt. Okay, so one issue that I have noticed is that you'll be fighting one-on-one, and then they'll start splitting off to do damage at anything else that might be surrounding, so hopefully there's a bit of a lock there. I know a lot of people didn't play it, but Troy had a very interesting dueling system, which isn't really a locked duel like, say, for example, Three Kingdoms had. Maybe that would be great for heroes and lords? I don't know, but I don't know. Hopefully they get something fixed out here. Technology tree reworks. There has been a good deal of feedback about the tech and the skill trees, so we're focusing on improving the impact and power of the technology trees first. Okay, great. There's some techs which kind of don't make much sense, so if they're going to be boosting up certain units, yeah, that's great, that's great. I'm just happy they're listening to a lot of feedback by the community because a lot of this stuff has been reported quite a lot, so yeah, it's great that they're listening. Next is character trait rework. While some character traits feel weaker in comparison to Total War Warhammer 2, other traits, such as caravan traits, are far too strong at the moment, and so we'll see some changes. Okay, so there's going to be buffs and debuffs. That's fine as long as it's being brought into a middle line. I haven't seen too many issues with the caravan traits, but then again, I haven't played that much of Cafe, so it could be a very noticeable issue that I just haven't seen. Lastly, we have Tzeentch and Slaanesh replenishment rates. It has been noted that Tzeentch and Slaanesh have a much more challenging time replenishing their armies when compared to the other factions in the game. On top of other factions, which can lead to consistent losses for the two factions, we're looking to make some adjustments to help them out. This is great. I have noticed that with Slaanesh. Yeah, this isn't a Slaanesh bias, this is just because I have noticed it. Tzeentch, I don't know, it depends. Because if you do have quite a good fire line, they're not going to get too close. But if they do get close, you're going to feel it. They're resetting the leaderboards for multiplayer in 1.2. This is to kind of fix some issues with, well, apparently people shooting up to the top and stuff. I'm not too sure about that because I don't really play multiplayer. When I do, it's kind of casual with friends. I don't like the competitive play because it kind of brings out the worst in me. But with that, we can look towards something really exciting. Regiments of Renown 1. The first Regiments of Renown pack adds elite recruitable troops to the game as additional flavor and firepower for your battlefield. What is a Regiments of Renown pack? Where regiment packs in previous games granted units to a single specific race, we're doing things a little bit differently in Total War Warhammer 3. With each regiment pack, we'll instead be adding a single new Regiment of Renown unit to each of the game's core races. This allows us to expand and bring in new roster functionality to all the factions over time, rather than powering up one race while forcing the others to wait their turn. We know that players will have a lot of questions about how they'll be joining the game, and we'll look to provide answers to those questions next month. Well, this is good news, because that means, right, we've got a lot of factions, you know, we've got Slaanesh, we've got Nurgle, we've got all these different ones. So rather than waiting for, say, a Slaanesh DLC to get Regiments of Renown, everyone's going to get Regiments of Renown at the beginning. It's not a bad idea, honestly. I'm actually quite happy about this. Right, so there doesn't seem to be anything for June, so Q3 will be coming up shortly. However, I'd say that, yeah, it's not too bad. These are good changes. I'm just generally happy about the Regiments of Renown pack. I think that's a better way than, especially if they're coming in free, you know, rather than paying for, essentially, yes, that is a reskinned unit, well, recolored, essentially. It's a good thing. I think it's okay. Okay, we're going into Q3 now, and this is focusing around July, August, and September, and they're saying here that they're going to have at least one last regular update. This is before their next major game release, so I'm assuming another mainstay title, which I don't think is going to come out this year. I think it's going to be next year, but I guess we're going to have to wait and see. And then the DLC teams will stay for Warhammer 3? Is that what I'm understanding? Anyways, Update 1.3 will give us another opportunity to address and include fixes for player-reported issues, whilst also introducing the second Regiments of Renown unit pack to the roster. 1.3 is still a ways out. We're still working out all the specific changes that will be included. That said, here are a few things that we've already added to the list. Okay, so they've got a few things. Improved unit formations, so they're going to keep on working on that, so that's great. Again, with the skill tree reworks, again, I'm happy about this. As long as this keeps going and they're looking at fixes constantly, this is a great thing. I don't care if it takes a few patches, because at the end of the day, they've got to do balancing checks and all that. But if they're going to go bit by bit and at least fix everything at the end of it, that's great. This is a great one. Increasing the frequency of land battles. As a cornerstone of the Total War Warhammer experience, we'd like to see more land battles represented throughout the campaigns. As such, we're working to increase their frequency and create a healthy mix of land, siege, and minor settlement battles as you play. Okay, so that's not too bad. There are a bit too many siege battles and minor settlement battles. It does feel like the AI stays, well, kind of stuck there a lot. So if they're going to come out a bit more, that's great. I'm happy about that. That's not too bad. The Total War Assembly Kit. The last piece of the puzzle to empower our amazing modding community involves the release of the Total War Assembly Kit. The tools that allow the easy creation of new mods in the Total War Warhammer games. We'll be looking to release the Assembly Kit in Q3 of this year, and we'll provide more details as we get closer to its arrival. It's a bit far for my liking. Like, I'm not trying to sound pessimistic, but Q3 is a little bit far away. I don't know. We're going to have to wait and see. Hopefully it's going to be very useful. I know some modders did have some issues with the old one, and a lot of modders were using external tools. Maybe this kit is going to be better, and that's why it's taking so long? I don't know. I mean, we're going to just try and sound as positive as possible here, because either way, at least we know we're getting it. Now we're going to move on to Update 2.0, which is going to focus around, well, what everyone's been waiting for, the Immortal Empires in its beta form, the Blood Pack, a Warriors of Chaos update, and of course, a Lord Pack. There's going to be a lot to talk about here. Let's go with the beta for Immortal Empires first. Mortal Empires was a much loved addition to the Total War Warhammer 2, and Update 2.0 will introduce the first iteration of the game mode to Warhammer 3, officially known as Immortal Empires. I mean, we've all been calling that for years, but okay. The mode will merge the maps and factions from all three Warhammer games, for those who own them, into one, allowing you to deploy the factions you love across a massive battlefield. Immortal Empires is a monumental undertaking that will continue to grow and evolve from the moment it lands in the game. So to highlight the ongoing focus on its development, we will initially be making it available as an integrated open beta, perhaps known better as the Proving Grounds, to some long-term players across all platforms. Okay. This initial phase will allow us to focus on updating the balance, map, races, and other areas where we can continue to make adjustments based on player feedback, ensuring that it will meet and exceed expectations as it develops over the long term. The plan is to continue updating the mode over several years. We want to ensure that those of you who are most excited to play it have the chance to participate and share in its success. Okay. So it's going to be a while until it's fully officially released, but it will be open beta, so people can play it. That means some factions are going to be a bit strong, the balance is going to be a bit weird. I mean, that's not too much of a bad thing, because if they're going to be fast about updating, that's fine, but even then, those updates can break saves, so it does depend on the speed of everything. I do have some questions for Creative Assembly, which I will be asking them, and hopefully I'll be able to provide a response more focused around, you know, the whole thing about if an update comes for the beta, will there be another version of the beta, or will our saves just be completely gone? Though I am excited for this, because at the end of the day, it's Immortal Empires, and we've all been waiting for this. I can't wait to see what's been done, what the map is like, what's changed. Like, this is the first time we're getting a Warhammer game of this scale, where we're going to basically see pretty much the whole world, well, barring, you know, Nippon rip. But this is really exciting, so if the beta is okay and is playable, that's my main thing. If it's playable, then I'm all for it. Let's have a beta. Let's play. Let's see everything. Let me play as Lord Skrolk. Let me take over for Lustria and then start plagues. Oh god, plague mechanics for Clan Pestilence would be great. But there's a bit more to talk about here, so let's just jump right into the next section. So we can be a bit positive about this. They do say that we're going to get some more information about Immortal Empires soon, and we might be lucky enough to get an AMA with Richard Aldridge on, I'm assuming, Reddit. That's usually where it is, regarding some information, but that's if he's not too busy, I guess. But yeah, I mean, as long as we're getting information, I'm happy. Okay, so we have some information regarding the Old World update for the Warriors of Chaos. Notice it says Old World Update 1, so hopefully Norska soon after, please. Starting with Update 2.0, we'll be looking to overhaul some of the last remaining races not previously spruced up from Warhammer 1 or 2, the goal to bring them up to date with the newer mechanics implemented in Warhammer 3. I'm just going to be very honest and cut here just 1 second. A lot of factions kind of need a rework, the vampires need a second. And yeah, if they want to bring them online with Warhammer 3, some factions are definitely going to need help. Lizardmen, definitely. Poor Lizardmen. These old world updates can include the introduction of new systems, units, features, and balance to make them a more formidable force in the battlefield. And in Update 2.0, this initiative begins with the Warriors of Chaos. That's great news because they were the first ever DLC. Because, well, that's where the whole issue started with the Day 1 DLC and all that, which is why you get the pre-order incentives now. I love Warriors of Chaos. I'm a big fan of them on the tabletop. 8th edition, I played them quite heavily because, let's be honest, they were kind of broken. But they've definitely fallen behind, especially, you know, because they're a Horde faction. They've got nothing unique about them. I can't wait to see what they have planned. If it's anything as good as the Beastmen update or even the Wood Elf update, we're going to be up for a good time. So that's great news. I'm actually quite happy about this. There's more information when we go later on, I think, but let's go on to Blood Pack. Actually, in a quick note, if they're going to bring in some new units and so on, you know, the Mutilated Vortex Beast would be great, by the way. Or Slaughter Brute. Chaos War Shrine, I've been saying that for like years now, please. I know, I'm not in any position to make demands, but come on, cool units are cool units, right? We have some news regarding the Blood Pack. So the Blood Pack for Total War Warhammer 3 adds a ton of new particle and visual effects to the game. Owners of the previous Blood Packs for Warhammer 1 or 2 will have it automatically unlocked. Likewise, unlocking the new pack will also unlock it for the previous 2 games. As usual, this sounds good. I'm a fan of this because, well, at the end of the day, I'm not really into the idea of a blood pack, but at least if you buy it for 1 game, you have it for all 3, so that's not too bad. Next is Lord Pack 1. Our first DLC pack also releases alongside Update 2.0. Lord Packs introduce several new legendary lords, generic legendary lords, heroes, and a variety of units to deploy across the grand campaign and multiplayer settings. Watch out for more information, including more information about the 4 champions joining the roster as we get closer to release. So I've had a theory for a while that this is going to be Chaos Warriors, and I mean, it kind of gets confirmed with the whole thing about, you know, old world updates. This should be quite interesting. This should honestly be very, very interesting. I wonder what's going to actually happen. I have speculated in the past, and those videos are on the channel. I could be wrong, I could be right, it depends on how it goes, but I have a feeling that this might be a new age for DLC where it might focus specifically on factions? I don't know. We're going to have to wait and see. It depends on what races they think need an update, and let's be honest, a lot of Warhammer 1 and Warhammer 2 races kind of need a little bit of a glow up, even some that have already received an update, like say for example the Empire, the Vampire Counts could do with a little bit of a push too, the Lizardmen, Skaven could do it just to update certain factions like Clan Pestilence. Yeah, I know, it's wishful thinking, but hey, we're in the last of the series, it's made a lot of money, it would be nice to have some factions given a bit of a glow up and just more reason for people to play them. Some unique mechanics would be great too. They've already said that too, so hey, I'm hopeful, I'm just very, very hopeful. It looks like they are determined to keep this game going for as long as possible. I mean, fingers crossed and knock on wood, but hey, if they want to bring in some more stuff. Now we're going to move on to Q4, which is October, November, December. It's been quite a large post. At least they're giving us a lot of information here. And here we're getting some information regarding the fact that there's going to be more patches and more stuff to come along, mostly revolving around fixes. So 2.1 is going to be all fixes just to get everything going. If anything breaks or if anything needs attention, some balancing, just the usual stuff. What we do know is that 2.1 will also have Regiments of Renown free, so we're going to get more Regiments of Renown. This is great, so every quarter is going to give us some. And if they're going to keep with that same format, hey, I'm super happy with that. I think that's going to work out quite well. And it's going to give a little bit of attention to everyone. So yeah, not bad. Interestingly enough, what's next is either patch 2.2 or 3.0. With so many beats dropping in 2022, we're aiming to pull together one final release to wrap the year off in Q4. This will either be a major release, update 3.0, or a smaller update 2.2 release with its own set of content and fixes. regardless of which path we choose, one major focus of either will be in the Immortal Empires game mode, which will be seeing big improvements in the last build of the year. We'll obviously have more to share as we get closer to Q4, and we'll ensure we highlight more of what's on the way in our State of the Game post later this year. Interesting, okay. So they'll be majorly focused for Immortal Empires. I mean, Chaos Dwarfs would be for both, wouldn't it? I don't see them being major focus for that. I don't know. Update 3.0 would definitely be a race pack. Update 2.2 would definitely be a Lord pack. I am very confused. I'm very, very confused. But also kind of hyped. Because if it's Chaos Dwarfs, it should be both. But if it's just Immortal Empires, I don't know. Could it be something that's just available in Immortal Empires, but also will have some sort of influence in, I don't know, Dogs of War, maybe? I don't know. I still think it's going to be Chaos Dwarves. Like, I want to think Dogs of War, but I think it's going to be Chaos Dwarves. Update 2.2 could literally be anything. It could be a Lord pack, so maybe Neferata? I mean, that sounds kind of doable. Or, you know, focusing around Monkey King, because they've kind of hyped him up a lot. I don't want to get into speculation now, okay? I just don't want to do that right now because I can't take it right now, no. Either way, that has got me very, very intrigued. So at least they do have another DLC planned for this year, so at least we're going to get 2 DLCs. The next section is just Unbeyond, where they say that they're going to keep us informed more, and if they do something like this, say every 4 months or so, I would be happy. It doesn't have to be that often, but this is definitely a lot better communication. I think Creative Assembly have done a lot better here. So yeah, that's not too bad. I do feel like they're going to do some more stuff, hopefully. I mean, they've already said that they're going to start working on land battle maps to bring in for domination mode. That seems to be quite popular, so that's cool. I don't use it that much, but hey, why not? There's a few things about the chat system. Again, I don't play multiplayer, and when I do, it's with friends, so I don't really trash talk, or, well, some people get toxic, apparently. See, I swear at my friends on Discord because I find that easier. But generally this looks good, and they do have a final word, so let's check that out. And lastly, we do have a final word from Rich, who is the lead for all the Total War DLCs. Here he's telling us that they've got loads of plans for the game and they've just had to reshift their focus at the moment, which I think is fair. I think that it's something that they needed to do. They need to fix the game before they can start selling content. And there's a little bit of a notice there that they want to support the game for years to come with fan favorite characters, races, plural, unique mechanics, and narratives being added. It would be good to get some narrative stuff like, you know, the whole Twist of the Twilight narrative was pretty good, and even the one for the Silence of the Fury, so hopefully more of that. And an unhealthy dose of special surprises too. This sounds quite interesting. Either way, the DLC team has always made some good DLCs. The latest stuff in Warhammer 2 was pretty good, so yeah, this is exciting. Alright, so now I just want to have some final thoughts regarding this because I've read over this a few times. A lot of things sound quite good. I'm quite happy that they're being more able to communicate. They've given us plans for a whole year without giving us too many details, but this is enough to, well, pretty much just say, look, we're working, this is what we have. It's a basic outline, and that's all we can say at the moment due to NDAs and all that. And I think, you know, that works. I think that is enough for us at the moment. Obviously, I can't wait to see comments down below with people arguing about that, but generally, I think this is good. More communication is always really good. We know DLC is on the way. It's 2 this year. I would have preferred more, but yes, fixes need to come first. I'm not 100% too sure how it's going to work with a beta for Immortal Empires. I'm just giving my honest opinions here, mainly because, yes, this is going to be advertised as a beta, but a lot of people, and yes, I am saying this here, a lot of people will not take it as a beta and they will bitch and moan when possible. So I'm just a little bit worried on how that's going to work. But even then, I'm excited. You know how long I've been waiting for this map? This is the first time that I'm actually going to see a world map, and it's going to be cool. It's going to be really, really cool. It's what I've been dreaming of since tabletop for many, many years. A game where I can just explore the world, I can do some battles, I won't have to paint so much. God, I really need to finish my pile of shame, but you know what I mean. It's something that many of us have been hoping for. I am taking everything with a pinch of salt. Obviously, we're going to have to wait and see how things go because, well, you know, this is all based on time and things can break. So I'm positive, but I'm also not going to hold my breath. I'm still very happy and I'm hyped. I think keeping a level head here is going to be very, very important. And we're just going to have to wait and see. Either way, we know our patch isn't too far away. Hopefully that fixes a few things and we can get back to playing and all that. I've recently been playing, some mods have been releasing and I've just been enjoying a few games. But some general fixes would be nice and I can't wait for that. That's the most important thing. That's the only thing I'm thinking of at the moment. Mind you, I've got that thing in my head of when he says Immortal Empires and races and DLC focus there, and I'm not going to think about that now. Anyways, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Let's start a bit of a discussion. Let's keep things civil. I'm just saying that here right now because I know how these types of videos go. Let's just remember we are here to talk about a game, yeah? With all that being said, have a lovely weekend and I shall see you all again very, very soon.